Hey guys, Mauricio Pochettino held his press conference ahead of a big game against Fulham on Monday, this Friday. And well, there were a couple of things that came out of that particular one, including what is in our video title today: is Ian MAATSEN a forward in Mauricio Pochettino's books? I will be explaining to you why I'm starting to think so, and how it was out of, well, a very stupid question that was asked of Mauricio Pochettino by a journalist. Now, he was asked, and I started reading a thing or two here, and I understand it's someone from TalkSport, and that is even more disappointing, because TalkSport for me is one of those stations that I go to. They have that wrap up of just about everything that has happened on a particular day as far as football is concerned. So they're very reliable in that. Then they have some of the best opinion shows that I like, best in my opinion, in there. And maybe it's a point where I ask you to please come to the comment section and tell me some of those podcasts or whatever it is that you listen to on a daily basis to catch up with just about everything football or whatever sport it is that you love, especially if it is something Chelsea related. Please let me know in the comment section. But TalkSport for me until today is a station and a platform that I really carry their journalists and their pundits so highly, regardless of what opinions that they do give. But today, someone they sent to that press conference, if at all it is true that they were from TalkSport, asked Mauricio Pochettino about the lack of quality backups for Reece James and Ben Chilwell. And that was okay. That was an okay question. I still find it stupid because I think we have good backups for those two players. But he went on to state, especially after spending 1 billion. I don't know, but we've got to raise the standards of whatever it is that we do. And now I'm no longer just about the sports journalist. Whatever you do in your career, you've got to raise it so much so that you are not the reason why people that are not any good at what you do start thinking they can do it. When you start asking such stupid questions, then every Tom, Dick, Harry, myself, anyone on Twitter can come and ask that same question, because hey, someone from TalkSport, if true, asked that kind of question. It is just, I don't know, sometimes I think these guys are also just influenced by us on Twitter, where they are supposed to be influencing the conversations that we have on Twitter. These so-called journalists, and now we are calling them so-called journalists, and I know I'm generalizing and all of that, but if one of you is asking such questions at a very important press conference, then I'm sorry, but we have to generalize you. How do you come to a press conference of a club named Chelsea with Malo Gusto as a deputy to Reece James, well knowing Disasi, a centre-back, can also play at right-back, with Mark Cucurella, Ian MAATSEN, all deputies or possible left-backs at a club behind Ben Chilwell, with Levi Colwill, a possible player at left wing-back? How do you come in and say, yo, you had this kind of problem last year and it looks like it's coming back all together? It is really stupid, man. We cannot have the journalists that are reporting on these things be the ones to ask questions that even we that are viewing you and are listening to you are thinking, how stupid is that? And it's just exactly what it is. Months on, I mean, the whole 1 billion thing has been thrown about and all of that. Yes, Chelsea have spent 1 billion. We are aware of that. We've had what Mauricio Pochettino has said about that. We've had about other people saying what they have said about that. We know about it. It cannot be the basis of your question, especially when your question is stupid, because there are actually backups to that. But again, as that was being asked and everything, I like that Mauricio Pochettino managed it the way that he did. He acted like he didn't understand it, and it was clear acting that he didn't understand the question. He knew how stupid that question was. I think he was just saying, I can't believe I'm having to answer this question in this press conference right there, you know? And then he asks someone to repeat it for him. I think a media officer from Chelsea, they repeat it for him, and it's quite clear, and he still acts like, I don't understand it, because I think in his mind he's thinking, it can't be this stupid a question at this press conference. I've got to ask. So someone, I think, repeats it in what appeared to be, I think, Spanish or Portuguese or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what Argentines speak, but it sounded like Spanish. Anyway, so it is repeated in that, and he laughs and he says, well, because there is one Rhys James, there is one Ben Chilwell. Such a sharp man, Mauricio Pochettino. Then he goes on to just school the man, and I feel this is really basic stuff. We all should know it. He came out to just pretty much break it down and let the guy know that, you know what, this is, without saying it, this is not Football Manager. This is not FIFA, or which is now AFC, where you just get two superstars, play one and bench the other, or just keep switching stuff and all of that. You need to get balance in a squad, and balance does not mean that you have one great guy and a poor guy. It could be two fairly good guys, but well, the balance in terms of the relations, in terms of when this guy comes on, how does he play, and all of those kinds of things. And he has said that that is what he is trying to achieve. Which brings us to the title of this video. Is Ian MAATSEN a forward in Mauricio Pochettino's books? This is why I think so. When Mauricio Pochettino was speaking about Ben Chilwell at left back and speaking about the backups therein, he mentioned two players. Those two players were Marc Cucurella, who he refers to as Marc, and then stated straight after that Levi Colwill can also play there. Now, for me, this is not a case of Ian MAATSEN played so many years ago. He hasn't managed to get playtime and all of that, so Mauricio Pochettino doesn't have an idea about him. No. When Ian MAATSEN played football for Chelsea in pre-season, he started at left wing back, had a stint at number 10, and also played at not left wing back, he played at left wing as a left midfielder, left winger. Then played through the middle at number 10, and then had a stint as a right attacking midfielder / right winger. Nowhere did we see him at left back. The closest he has come to playing at left back is when he replaced Chilwell, who had been playing as a left winger in a game where some of us were still wondering, is it left wing back that Chilwell is playing, or is he actually playing as a left winger? That's the closest that he has come to left back to play Ian MAATSEN. Now, if we're in a press conference like this, and the manager is saying that, yes, I have cover at left back, my assistant captain Ben Chilwell is out, but I have Marc Cucurella, and I also have Levi Colwill, who can play at left back. Then if you are a left back and a left wing back in this club, there are two things here. One is either he really doesn't want you in your squad, Ian MAATSEN, and you should be leaving. The next time Burnley or whichever other club agrees a fee, step out, walk out, there is no plan for you in this club. Or he has spoken to you and he has stated that I see you as a forward player, your technicality is wasted playing as a defensive player and all of that. There are many different ways that we can get to use you. Many of us that watched that Carabao Cup game on Wednesday will have seen that this guy is actually a decent right attacking midfielder, especially if you're going to play against teams with a marauding left back or left wing back with also a guy that, keeps cutting in as their left wing. And that's what he did with Mitoma, who also, these guys also had a Stupinian, yes, as well as, of course, Ansu Fati, all marauding and running at Cucurella. And I think Ian MAATSEN did a tremendous job trying to cover up Cucurella's battles and all of those. So yes, he can be very, very helpful. We've also seen left wing backs that have turned into wingers and have done so well. Ian MAATSEN already has goals and assists for Chelsea this year. That was in pre-season, but you can see that even against Brighton in the Carabao Cup, he had the pass before the assists. So he's definitely very involved. He can pick out passes. I think one of my favorite moments of Ian MAATSEN in the Chelsea side has been that assist that he put through for it was Nico Jackson in pre-season. I forget the team who were playing against. Could it have been Newcastle or Brighton itself? It was a beautiful through ball that Nico Jackson just showed us what he's capable of as far as finishing a chance gets to go. So I've seen I've seen quite enough of Ian MAATSEN in an advanced position that I trust he could do us some good as an attacking forward. But looks like if we are going to be, as fans and the pundits and everyone, putting pressure on Mauricio Pochettino to play Ian MAATSEN, and what we are looking for is playing him as a left back, left wing back, well, now Ben Chilwell is out. Let's see what happens on Monday, but it looks like it will never be MAATSEN as the person being looked at left wing back, and maybe we need to start looking at him as another of the forwards that we do have in the club. But hey, that's really my own opinion, my analogy from what I saw at the press conference. I would want to hear from you what it is that you think right there as far as this guy Ian MAATSEN is gets to go right here in this particular one. Let's get to move on from that, shall we? Let's talk about the game that will be versus Fulham this Monday. I remember Fulham. Fulham is fresh in my mind. Debut for João Felix. João Felix playing so well. Gets red carded in that game. We end up losing it. I really hope that we are going to be able to build on that result against Brighton in the Carabao Cup and get another victory, this time against Fulham. We need some confidence flowing in the veins of these players. And of course, on that day, we now know that Nico Jackson will not be playing that game. He is suspended because of a couple of unnecessary yellow cards that he has gotten, and some that were really genuine, and we needed him to get for the team right there. So now the question becomes, what happens? We do have that red card that was given to Malo Gusto. It has not been contested and he has not been cleared to play. So that means we go into this game with a gap at left wing, at right back and right wing back. Rhys James is just not ready for this Monday, and Pochettino says that he will have to wait another week. So who plays there? I'm going to be giving you my predicted 11, and I hope I can hear from you on what your predicted 11 for that game will be. But for me, in goal, we now more than ever need to continue with Sanchez in goal. Why? Because he's gotten to master a little bit of consistency in there, in between the sticks. And I think that switching him up, in as much as I'm a fan of giving George Petrovic an opportunity and all of that, I also recognize the kind of spell that the club is in. We need as much stability as possible. So Sanchez staying in goal helps him as a goalkeeper in trying to build up that confidence and all of that. But it also helps the team in general to just have some consistency as we try to do better. Then the changes can come in a little bit later. So yes, Sanchez for me continues in goal, and I'm going for a 4-3-3. The four at the back for me are Disasi at right back, Kukurea at left back, with the two in the middle being Thiago and Colwill. You can do that little, or when we attack, it's a 3-4-2-1 or whatever it is with this particular one, and it gives you some sort of flexibility as far as the formation is concerned. Then in the midfield, I do have Enzo, Caicedo and Gallagher as the players that are playing in there. I put Gallagher back in here because of his work rate, yes, but especially because with Rhys James and Chilwell out, that is the captain and the vice captain out, I'm not so sure we're also going to go ahead and lose the second vice captain, at least as far as actions are concerned for Chelsea this season. So I think Gallagher will be in there. And then at the top is where, of course, the drama gets to come in. Armando Broja, I don't think he's ready for 90 minutes to start a game just yet. He's been out so long, and it will be a big gamble. In here is a certain Cole Palmer who has played as a striker, and I will be the first to admit, the first time I heard that we were being linked to Cole Palmer, I'd always registered him in my mind as a striker, because that's where I've seen him play. And as a person who's been playing FIFA for a minute, he has been one of those young strikers that you get to look forward to developing for such a while, him and Delap at Manchester City. So I always thought he was a striker. So I think this could be something, a little bit of a half nine that can also be an imposing body as a number 9 in there. So Cole Palmer for me starts off striking, flanked by Sterling and Mudryk. That is my predicted 11 for that game against Fulham. Let me know who you think will be starting, what you think of my team, who should I put out, and who do you think should be going into that particular team. I look forward to hearing from you. With that, I want to close this one out by pointing out another quote that was very interesting coming in from Mauricio Pochettino. His possible bigger involvement in the squad, in the transfers starting January. I think that is a huge positive step, and for me this is on two accounts. One, because with the youngsters coming in and having heard from the core sporting directors who are telling us about how now they will start adding some experience to the youngsters as the core has been formed. Yes, that means that you're going to need experienced players, and the best person that knows what these current young players are doing to the squad is the manager or the head coach, to involve him in the decisions to bring in which players can get the better out of this crop is definitely genius. But for me, over and above, I know for sure that Chelsea, well, I don't know for sure, but my analysis is that Chelsea moved away from managers being involved in the players that we sign, because these managers were changing quite a bit, and every time you brought in a manager, they brought in their 5 good players, and then they were sacked after a year or 2, and then you were stuck with 5 players. Maybe 3 of those could not fit in the plans of the new guy. Now you have to find clubs to buy them, probably losses, bring in 5 other expensive players for the next manager, and that cycle kept continuing. That Chelsea are willing to go back to this maybe is the sign that we needed to know that stability is back at the club, and that they really look at Mauricio Pochettino as a long-term manager. And for me, in as much as some fans feel, what if he's not doing well, we need results, we win trophies at Chelsea and all of that, for me, as a disciple of this project, as a person who's been calling for stability at the club and developing a style for the club and everything, this is great news, and I really hope it is something communicating what I think it is. I thought that is what we did with Sarri, but well, that flew out of the window when Sarri left the club, and we never really followed up on that. So I really hope that this time around it is what it is. Let me know as well on that what you think about those opinions in the comment section. I would love to have those conversations with you right in the comment section, but also on social media. Please follow me. I am D Mugumisa on Instagram as well as on Twitter, which is really X, and I am also a Dawa D Mugumisa on TikTok. So follow me there. Let's have those conversations. I also usually have shorter videos there for you to get to take a gulp of, because there are usually many. And then of course, yeah, the big one, please subscribe to this channel, turn on that notification bell, share widely, let as many people know about us as possible. I'm sweating, am I not? Until the next video, let us keep that blue flag flying high.